upon a time there was truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey everyone, I won't be able to contain my excitement today, but I don't pretend to be impartial. You guys know that I am a progressive, that I've been rooting for Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib, so many progressives who are running, Jamal Bowman, who won. I am just so excited after all of this terrible news we've had lately. It is amazing. It feels so good to have some good news to announce. I'm going to get right into it. Hopefully more people join us. I know it's the middle of the day, but I just couldn't wait to do a live stream to talk about this with fellow progressives. So as you guys have probably heard by now, Cori Bush pulled out a victory in Missouri against Lacy Clay in Missouri's 1st district. Cori Bush is the real deal. She is an organizer and a protester. She's been a leader in Ferguson and St. Louis in protests and fighting for Black Lives Matter. She is a nurse. She's previously been homeless. She knows what it's like for Americans, and in particular Black Americans, and even more specifically Black women in this country, in the South. I just, we've fought so hard. We've all been so disappointed by Bernie Sanders dropping out and just feeling like it's one blow after another. But it happened. People in Missouri got out the vote. They went out and voted they voted for the people. They voted for progressive policies. And Cori Bush won. I stayed up so late last night just reading all of the tweets and looking at her page and just being so excited. I couldn't sleep. It feels so inspiring. Cori, she ran a couple of years ago and she didn't win. But she didn't stop. She didn't, just go lay in a corner and cry. She continued fighting and she ran again and she won. Cori Bush is particularly close to my heart because she was, I used to work for I was on the writing team of Justice Democrats in Brand New Congress, and Cori Bush was the first Justice Dem candidate. And she just, part of my responsibilities was writing, campaign emails and things like that for her and other potential or other candidates. And she in particular was just so sweet, just so nice, but also she's a fierce fighter for justice. So couldn't be happier. We will also today be talking about Rashida Tlaib's win in Michigan. Rashida Tlaib was kind of written off. The newspapers, the media, they were saying, out of all of the, the squad, Ilhan Omar and AOC and all of the squad who was running this year, Rashida Tlaib's race is going to be the toughest. She's the most likely to be edged out. Well, that didn't happen. She won by a great margin against her challenger. So progressives are getting out the vote. Progressives are going out and fighting for policies that matter. So So we can all be disappointed about the presidential election, but I don't know about you guys, this gives me renewed hope. Renewed hope that progressives can win. Progressives can take over the House and make real change. I'll check in on the chat quickly because I saw a couple super chats, and then I'll go through all of the amazing stories and everything that came out last night about Cori's win. Yay, everyone in the chat is so excited. Sassy Girl, 5 Canadian dollars in the super chat. Here's to good news. Absolutely. Dave says I should get a poster behind me. Yes, I ordered a wall tapestry, or maybe I got that for Jordan. Anyway, I ordered something from our store, which I'll put the link in for our store where you can get all of your Status Coup swag, to put behind me so that I can show it off while I'm live. Swirly Swirl, $5 in the super chat. My company just announced today that they will be offering voluntary separation packages. This victory is my good news of the day. Wow, congratulations, Swirly Swirl. That's awesome. Okay, so yes, everyone's excited. Everyone's pumped up. Let's keep this momentum though. We're not always going to have wins, but we will sometimes. Remember how you felt when AOC won? This, in my opinion, is even huger. To take down this family dynasty that has been in the Clay dynasty, the family political dynasty that has been in that seat since the 60s. And now Cori Bush has done it, despite Lacy Clay sending out disgusting campaign literature against Cori Bush, trying to darken her features, an essential blackface on a black woman, which is just so abhorrent that he would do that as part of trying to win a campaign, him coming against her for supporting BDS, just so much BS from the establishment. And after I go through a couple of the happy news things, I'll show you something that I think is kind of funny. Lacy Clay's father said something absolutely ridiculous in the wake of Cori Bush's win. Just wait for it. You guys will appreciate this. So smash the like button if you haven't already. That really helps YouTube. It gets YouTube to show this stream to more people, so more people get it in their feeds. They like to see activity, so leave comments, smash the like button, share the stream on your social media. Let's all get excited. Andrew Dwyer, $4.99 in the super chat. Cori Bush said people told her they were going to endorse her, but got calls. Sound like a euphemism for threat. Wonder if one of those people were AOC. I don't know, and I'm definitely disappointed that AOC didn't support Cori Bush. I really think like any progressive that's currently in the House should have supported Cori Bush. There's no reason not to. She was clearly the progressive in that race, and she absolutely, AOC and others, should have supported and endorsed Cori Bush. I do not get why they didn't. It has to have been pressures from the inside, from the establishment, but you know, who cares? Do what's right, and that's something we need to push AOC and others to do. So let's focus on the victory though for now. We can get down into the nitty gritty and what kind of went wrong with endorsements and lack of endorsements later on. So this one's kind of funny with Roger Oletz on Twitter. This quote did not age well. Pelosi on disagreement with Ocasio-Cortez, Omar, Tlaib, and Presley. They're 4 people, and that's how many votes they got. Well, guess what, Nancy? Now you've got Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, the squad, others running who still have yet, their races still have yet to be decided. The squad is growing, and the squad doesn't just include members of Congress. The squad includes all progressives, and progressives who are going to continue pushing. Even, we have to push, even if, Cori Bush is amazing and incredible and inspiring. There will be times where we might have to push her. I don't know. We definitely have to push AOC often. We have to push all of our politicians to do better. We're not always going to agree, but Nancy Pelosi, the progressives are winning. She has to start seeing the writing on the wall, but I don't think she ever will, unfortunately, because she's so hubristic and really thinks that she's got everyone wrapped around her little finger. So bye-bye, Nancy. Here is such a great picture Cori Bush posted today, early in the morning, with at her victory speech. Just a great image. So happy. An image of power, an image of victory. Here are the actual results from the race against Lacy Clay. So Cori Bush got 48.6% of the vote, and Lacy Clay got 45.5% of the vote. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of close, and you might say she didn't win by an incredible margin. She didn't win with as large of a margin as Rashida Tlaib did against her challenger, for example, but she won. And it wasn't like down to a couple votes. It was, Lacy Clay got 68,201 votes, and Cori Bush got 72,812 votes. Cori Bush truly pulled this off. The people chose who they wanted, they chose the policies they wanted, and this is the victory. So people were kind of writing Cori Bush off. They were saying, this mother, Black Lives Matter activist, this nurse, she's not going to win. She can't win against a political dynasty. And even as much as I wanted her to win yesterday, I tried to not get my hopes up. And even when people started, there were rumors like, it's going to be Cori Bush is going to win. But that was before like the AP called it or anyone of authority really called it. So I was tempering my potential enthusiasm and saying, she's truly up against a really tough challenger. This family has been in office for so long. Like, calm down, wait for the actual results to come in. But people had written her off. People in the media had written her off. This was truly a surprise win, but a well-deserved win. And this is a game changer. This is the fact that AOC won against Crowley 2 years ago, and now the fact that Cori Bush won against her challenger, or her, she was challenging the incumbent, Lacy Clay, and they both won. There's movement here. It's happening. We take these victories and we need to kind of feed off of them, and everyone needs to keep fighting because we can win. The New York Times wrote up a piece on Cori Bush's win. Cori Bush defeats William Lacy Clay in a show of progressive might. The upset of the veteran congressman from St. Louis sent tremors through the Democratic establishment in Missouri and Washington, D.C. Cori Bush, a progressive activist and a leader of the swelling protest movement for racial justice, toppled Representative William Lacy Clay Jr. of Missouri in a Democratic primary on Tuesday, notching the latest in a stunning string of upsets against the party establishment. Ms. Bush, 44, had captured nearly 49% of the vote by late Tuesday evening, compared with 45.5% for Mr. Clay, according to the Associated Press. She had tried and failed to unseat Mr. Clay in 2018, but this year rode a surge in support for more liberal, confrontational politics within the Democratic Party. The New York Times and other media continues to use that term liberal. That's more associated with the Biden wing of the party. But anyway, amid the coronavirus pandemic and the national outcry over festering racial inequalities, Ms. Bush's victory, which came on the same night that Missouri voters decided to expand Medicaid eligibility, which is another huge win and as a result of Cori Bush's voters, was a significant milestone for insurgent progressive candidates and the groups like Justice Democrats that have backed them across the country. It showed that the same brand of politics that has helped young liberal candidates of color unseat veteran party stalwarts in places like Massachusetts and New York could also resonate deep in the heartland against a black incumbent whose family has been synonymous with his district for decades. Then it talks about AOC and Jamal Bowman. A single mother, former nurse, and pastor, Ms. Bush would be the first black woman to represent the state of Missouri in Congress. The plurality of the district, which encompasses St. Louis and some of its innermost liberal suburbs, is African American and considered safely Democratic. So not only has Cori Bush pulled off a win that many people thought was impossible, but she has made history. She will become the first Black woman to be in Congress from Missouri. That's incredible. She has done so much. Think of all the little girls who look up to Cori Bush. And someone I used to write with, who's now with, or is still with Brand New Congress, had a great story where she spoke with a little girl maybe a year or two ago, saying that she wants to be like Cori Bush when she grows up. And that was before Cori Bush had won. This little girl, I guess, she must have wonderful parents, or someone showed her Cori Bush and taught her about Cori Bush, and she was inspired. Think of, now that Cori Bush will be even more so in the national spotlight, think of all those little girls out there who now know what's possible because of people like Cori Bush. Tonight's Missouri's 1st District has decided that an incremental approach isn't going to work any longer, Ms. Bush told supporters at a jubilant news conference after the race was called. We decided that we, the people, have the answers, and we will lead from the front lines. Mr. Clay, the scion of a storied Black Missouri political dynasty in his 10th term in Congress, had tried to make the campaign a referendum on not only Ms. Bush's suitability for elected office, but also the progressive movement behind her. He carried out a series of dark, personal attacks in the campaign's final days to try to halt Ms. Bush's momentum, and described her as a prop of out-of-town interests seeking to divide the Democratic Party along racial lines. So think about that. I'm all for, political attacks. I definitely think that Bernie Sanders should have gone after Joe Biden on his record and on his policies. Bernie didn't do that, and I think that's a big part of the reason why he didn't win, or why he dropped out. And the fact that Lacy Clay resorted to personal attacks against Cori Bush shows that he didn't have anything of substance to go after her for. He really did have a dark campaign against her, and that's how these establishment figures often work. They know they can't win based on policy because they're in the pockets of special interests, but they have to win somehow, and they have to kind of brainwash the public into thinking the worst about truly progressive candidates and people and candidates who are truly representative of the people. Well, your tactics didn't work this time, Mr. Clay. Let's see here. Late Tuesday night, it was Justice Democrats which helped groom Miss Bush and other successful progressive challengers that was celebrating. If you don't know, now you know. The squad is here to stay, and it's growing, said Alexandra Roja, the group's executive director. Then it talks more about Lacy Clay. Ms. Bush built her campaign around her personal story as a working-class Black woman who was pulled into public life after a white police officer shot and killed Michael Brown, an unarmed Black teenager, in Ferguson, Missouri in 2014. She joined protesters in the days after the shooting, and in the weeks and years that followed became one of their leaders, staring down tear gas, mace, and rubber bullets. Ms. Bush was a fixture at protests across the district this summer after the police killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Speaking to reporters and a small group of supporters Tuesday night through a medical mask, Ms. Bush drew a bright line from her experience confronting the police on the streets where Mr. Brown died to her victory at the ballot box. I was maced and beaten by those same police officers in those same streets, she said. 6 months from now, as the first Black congresswoman in the entire history of Missouri, I will be holding every single one of them accountable. She added, if you didn't understand what happened, what was birthed right here in St. Louis, Missouri, in St. Louis County, in Ferguson, we're about to show you. Amid a worsening health and economic crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic, Ms. Bush pushed drastic changes to the nation's criminal justice system, including defunding and dismantling police departments, called for Medicare for all, a $15 minimum wage, and a universal basic income, and swore off corporate campaign contributions. And her swearing off corporate campaign contributions will come into play when I show you what Lacy Clay's dad had to say. But as the campaign wore on, she also began sharpening her attacks against Mr. Clay directly, accusing him of failed leadership after 2 decades in office. She noted that he was largely absent from the protests and questioned his commitment to fighting for voters in a city troubled by segregation and economic stagnation. He's had 20 years to make change, not only in St. Louis, but across this country, Ms. Bush said on Saturday. He waits until something is popular to stand up for it, or he waits until there is pressure. I do it just because that is the need. The message ultimately resonated with voters, many of whom had never before voted for a congressman not named Clay. William Lacy Clay Sr., a local civil rights figure, entered Congress in 1969 and handed the seat to his son when he retired in 2001. While Mr. Clay narrowly carried the portions of the district in suburban St. Louis County, Ms. Bush won a commanding victory in the city of St. Louis. And then it talks about the fact that if you guys haven't seen this documentary on Netflix, it's well worth watching, called Knock Down the House. And it definitely put AOC at the forefront, but it also followed Cori Bush and Amy Vilela. So definitely check that out. It's a great reminder of what happened 2 years ago, and in light of what just happened, very, very inspiring. Let's see. While Ms. Bush had the group's enthusiastic support as well, she was one of only 2 challengers to black incumbents it endorsed this cycle, and was endorsed, they're talking about Justice Democrats, and was endorsed by Mr. Bowman. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez had conspicuously sat on the sidelines. She had campaigned for Ms. Bush in 2018, but Mr. Clay courted the New York Democrat in Washington, signing on to the Green New Deal and inviting Ms. Ocasio-Cortez and other progressive lawmakers to support some of his bills. So I'm hoping, that AOC doesn't truly think that just because someone kind of fakely probably, most likely, he didn't really mean it, signs on to the Green New Deal and other, things that she puts forward, that she should become buddy-buddy with them. I really don't like that she didn't endorse Cori Bush, but I promised that we would focus on the good for today, because we all deserve good news, and Cori Bush winning is great, great news. I'm going to show you part of Cori Bush's victory speech, and then I'm going to show you that Jordan has been on the ground with Cori Bush, with her as an activist in St. Louis, and you'll see Cori Bush is truly a fighter. She's been on the ground all this time. I believe this was about 3 years ago when Jordan had interviewed her. So let me check in with the chat quickly. Super chats really, really help us. They help us keep reporting, so definitely, if you can, leave a super chat. Also, you can become a member of Status Coup for as low as $5 a month. You get you get amazing extra content like behind the scenes videos, video diaries, photos and videos from behind the scenes when we're out in the field, and member calls, which is really a lot of people join just for the member calls. We have so much fun. You get to ask us all of your burning questions. So go to statuscoup.com/join. That's statuscoup.com/join to become a member. You might think, $5 doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't matter if I join or not, but it does matter, because the more members we have, and unfortunately we lost a lot due to coronavirus, we lost about 200. The more members we have, and we're about 200 away from 2,000 members, the more we're able to keep going. We truly rely, our membership model is the lifeblood of Status Coup. So if you can, please join statuscoup.com/join. Also, you can write us at info@statuscoup.com if you would like to sponsor 1 or 5 or 10 or whatever number you want of memberships for those who are going through hardships right now. So write us at info@statuscoup.com if you can sponsor any members. We had 2 people sponsor 4 members total this week, so that's awesome. Let's keep it going, keep the love going. info@statuscoup.com or statuscoup.com/join. So I already read that one. Scrolling. Sorry, guys. JK, $5 in the super chat. Okay, how much of a chance do you think Shahid realistically has? This is a difficult topic, and I don't want to touch on it too much in this chat because this is a happy chat. I think his policies are good. They resonate with progressives. Nancy Pelosi's district is not, it's definitely not in the bag for Shahid. It's definitely an uphill battle. But there's also been some accusations made against him. There have been it's a difficult topic. There have been some things with his staff that aren't super great, but then there are people who kind of debunk the other people. So I'm staying away from that right now. I don't know what's going to happen, but I definitely think that the establishment is doing everything they can to make sure that he doesn't win. So sorry I can't give you more of an answer, but I just want to stay away from that for now. Still scrolling. Hold on, guys. Someone mentioned the K-Hive. The K-Hive definitely, those who don't know, the K-Hive is the group of Kamala Harris supporters that are still going strong on Twitter and other social media, and they were adamantly against Cori Bush winning and Rashida Tlaib winning, and they're super mad right now because they won. All right, so would love if you guys ask questions, leave comments, be excited with super chats. They definitely help keep us going. Share this on your social media. Smash the like button. Now let's get into Cori Bush's victory speech. So this was actually filmed by Izzy Allison, who is a great person who she worked on, with Brand New Congress. She was the head of Brand New Congress, and she's been working extremely hard for Cori Bush's campaign. So she's a big part of why there is a victory and why we can all be celebrating today. She really was fantastic in Cori's camp. So I'm going to skip around a bit because the video is quite long. Let's see. Let me turn up my sound. Okay.
Hallelujah. Yes, yes. Hallelujah.
If it had not been. Yes. For the Lord who's been on my side.
Yes. Yes.
I gotta say it. I gotta give honor to God.
Yes.
And to my family, my
Yes.
father, who has been my example for my
Yes.
entire life.
Yes.
To my father.
Go down, go down. Yes,
To my family, my mom, my sister, my children over here.
Yes.
To my whole family, my friends.
Yes.
My niece and nephew, my whole family. And then to my movement family. And to my team. Oh my goodness. Y'all gotta do better than everybody. They counted us out. They called me, I'm just a protester. I'm just an activist.
Tell them.
With no name, no title, and no real money.
Come on now.
But that's all they said that I was. But St. Louis showed up today. So
Come on.
So, I need to also thank, there were some organizations and groups that stood by us and kicked ass.
Yes, they did.
Justice Democrats.
Yes.
Crazy Congress. The Sunrise Movement. My We have Democratic Socialists of America. Matriarch.
Yes.
And we have some local, let me call out our local Sunrise.
Come on now.
Sunrise.
Yes.
From the jump, we who is here with us today.
Yes.
Several groups that stood with us. Our revolution was with us. And let me also thank somebody that stood with me that did not have to stand with me, that you all probably know very well. I gotta call out Senator Bernie Sanders. So I'm throwing out those thank yous. And let me say, we raised nearly, or maybe we even crossed it, almost $800,000.
Yes.
Regular people.
Yes, ma'am. Small dollars.
Small dollars. We made a total of over 475,000 phone calls.
Yes, ma'am.
So almost 6 years ago to this day, Mike Brown was murdered.
Yes.
Murdered by the police in the streets of Ferguson, Missouri.
Uh-huh.
I was maced and beaten by those same police officers in those same streets.
Mm-hmm.
6 months from now, as the first black congresswoman in the entire history. A symbol to the country and even the world of the pain that so many of us have had to endure for far too long. This summer, after George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Nina Pop, and so many more were taken from us,
Yes.
millions of people are taken to the streets around the world to join us, to join those who had said for years, starting in this place, that
Yes.
Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
We've been called radicals, terrorists.
Yes.
We've been dismissed as impossible, as an impossible friends movement. That's what we are. But now, we are a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-generational, multi-faith mass movement, united in demanding change, in demanding accountability, in demanding that our police, our government, our country recognize that Black lives do indeed matter, and that these are not just words or symbolic gestures, but with concrete action, and we will measure those with our outcomes.
Yes.
So let me just say, it is historic that this year of all years,
Yes.
we're sending a black working class single mother.
Come on now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This is real.
who's been fighting
It's very
for
real, baby.
Ferguson all the way to the halls of Congress.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. About to give him heaven. About to give him heaven.
Bless.
About to give him heaven, baby.
Bless.
Yes.
Bless.
About to give him heaven, baby.
Bless.
Today, the people of St. Louis made a decision.
Yes.
From all corners of Missouri's first district,
Yes.
our communities have embraced a bold, fearless
Yes.
vision of real change that is regular, everyday, where regular, everyday people like us can feel it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yay! The people want it.
Yes, ma'am. Power to the people.
It was never about me, and I could never have done this alone. As I said, I acknowledge our team and everybody else.
Yes.
But let me also acknowledge every single volunteer.
Yes,
We have
ma'am.
volunteers not only around the St. Louis area and
ma'am.
Missouri, all across the country.
Yes, ma'am.
We have volunteers, people volunteering from across the world.
Yes.
People really working to make a difference. And make no mistake, this victory has been years in the making.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
We want to say thank you to all that went out on the limb to support this grassroots campaign.
Yes.
Because they believed in us.
Yes.
And we want to say for those that didn't believe in us,
Come on now. Come on.
we're going to take care of you too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This is a victory. This victory is a victory for all of us. And as I represent
Come on now.
the people of St. Louis in I will never take for granted the movement that got me here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Granted, the movement that got me here.
Say it for the folks and the leaders in the back.
We are at a turning point in this country as we face down unprecedented crises from COVID-19 to police brutality to out of control climate change. And we've decided how to move forward. Well, tonight, Missouri's First has decided that an incremental approach isn't going to work any longer.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We decided that we aren't going to wait any longer for change and that change that isn't actually coming. So we decided that we the people, we have the answers, and we will lead from the front line. So I say, yes. Thank you for standing with me. Yes. Thank you for standing with this movement.
Yes.
And if you didn't really understand what happened, what was birthed right here in St. Louis, Missouri, in St. Louis County, in Ferguson, if you didn't understand, we're about to show you. And lastly, let me say, y'all, we about to change the world.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Wow, guys. That is, if I have chills, I have goosebumps right now. She's a incredibly powerful speaker. She's a pastor too. Like, she knows how to energize a crowd, and you can hear the support around her. I loved that moment when her daughter started dancing next to her, just so happy. There's so much support. There's so much love in that room, and we can all feel it at home. And she said in her speech, she's coming for the people who didn't believe. She's coming for the people who came for her. She's going to continue fighting and being there for the people. So let me know what you guys thought about that powerful speech in the chat. I saw some super chats come through, so let me look at those. All right, here. Keep those amazing super chats coming. We have $10 in the super chat from Amit Campbell with a sticker. Love the stickers. Thank you so much. Scrolling. Andrew Dwyer, $1.99 in the super chat. Alex Morse is next. Awesome. Yes. Darren Alvey with 5. I still don't know my currency symbols. I'm sorry. Either pounds or, I think that's pounds. If Trump does delay the election, wouldn't that force the Dems into a new primary? And would that give Bernie a chance to become president? No, I haven't read too much in depth, but if it is delayed, which is an incredibly small chance, even if Trump does end up wanting to, it seems like somehow Nancy would get in there. I can't speak too much on it because I honestly just been like, no, I don't want to read that right now. So I don't. There's no chance. There's no chance of Bernie. I do know that, unfortunately. But I'm happy to eat my words if by some magical situation it does happen. NBW Doughboy, $2 in the super chat. I want to give her a nice foot rub. She deserves it. Well, I don't know, NBW Doughboy. you would have to ask her, of course, for permission. Maybe she would just go for your cheers and your like a shout out to her amazing shoes that she was wearing. Scrolling here. NBW Doughboy, another $2 in the super chat. Thank you so much. Cori and Nina, forget the squad. That's a dream team. You're so right. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Cori Bush and Nina Turner are both such powerful speakers. You can't help but be sucked in and excited by either of them or both of them when you listen to them speak. I think that, I think the future is Nina Turner and Cori Bush. And I can't wait to see what these powerful, strong women do next. Both of them have my heart, my respect. Their policies are out of this world great. And I have hope for the future because a lot of it's due to Cori and Nina. A lot of people cheering for Cori. Somehow I'm not seeing... Oh, there we go. 20 pounds in the super chat. Ooh, how long till Cori gets called a sellout by some people? Just a bit pissed off. Love Bernie and AOC. Can't wait for Shahid to kick Pelosi's wrinkly arse. And yay for Cori and the others who made it. Also, look at those shoes. I completely agree. One of the things that's been so disappointing, and I can see it in some cases. For example, with AOC not endorsing Cori Bush, I can definitely see criticisms about that, and I have my own criticisms about that. I think it's ridiculous that she didn't endorse Cori Bush, especially since they ran together. They were entered in the same group of Justice Dems and brand new Congress candidates, and AOC didn't endorse her. That's ridiculous, and she needs to be called out on that. So, to your question about how long till Cori gets called a sellout by some people, I think probably not long. I think probably right as soon as she gets into office. There are certain people that will never be happy, no matter how great the candidate is, no matter how progressive their policies are, no matter how good their votes are. They're just not happy. Something didn't go exactly their way, or they have a slightly different philosophy. These people don't understand nuance. They don't understand that it's okay and healthy for people to have differences of opinion. So they take one thing and call the entire person a sellout. So I'm sure it's going to happen, and I'm just going to ignore those people. And that doesn't mean, if Cori, falters in her positions or her policies or her votes, yes, call that out, call that action out, push her. Every person on this planet needs to be pushed in certain areas to do better. No one is perfect. Again, there will be differences of opinion, but if something's goes wrong, there is no problem with calling out that specific instance. And I hope that that's what people do, but unfortunately from what I've seen, a lot of people truly do have their own purity test. I hate even saying that phrase because so many Biden wing Democrats and Kamala Harris fans and all that talk about the purity test that progressives have. So I'm not talking about it in that sense. I'm talking about it in an individual sense. So there's certain people who have their pet passions or their pet policies, or who view things in a very specific way. And if anyone deviates at all from their imagined internal best practices, then they just dismiss the person and even go on smear campaigns against them. So it's gonna happen. But Cori is a fighter. I think she's gonna continue to fight. And I'm gonna show you part of Jordan's interview that he did with Cori Bush that will show you that she intends to keep on fighting. And yes, Bernie and AOC, both great. I'm so, a lot of people are calling Bernie a sellout. I definitely don't agree with that. Can't wait for Shahid to kick Pelosi's wrinkly arse. I hope so. Nancy Pelosi needs to go. Can you imagine the transformation in American politics if Nancy Pelosi is unseated? I can't even imagine it, but it would be really, really incredible for progressive policies and for the people in general. And yay for Cori, of course. And look at those shoes. I know, I saw comments about her shoes. Her shoes are incredible. They're so cool. Really, really pretty. She knows how to dress. She's like, she and Nina have some fashion sense for sure. But more importantly, they have political sense and a sense for the people and for their policies. So we're so lucky to have powerful women like Cori Bush who are going to represent us. If you haven't already, and if you're new here, please subscribe to this channel. So we are zooming, or maybe not zooming. We wish we would zoom faster. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers on this channel. And when that happens, we'll not only get a fancy plaque, but we will also get kind of more recognition and more ability to be seen on YouTube. So that's our goal for right now, is reaching 100,000 subscribers. If YouTube's algorithms were different and more like they used to be, we would have hit 100,000 a long time ago. So tell your friends, your families, your cats, all of your Google accounts, tell all of those things to subscribe. And if you haven't already, subscribe yourself and check and make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube has been unsubscribing people as well. So also keep the super chats coming. And yeah, I want to note that we have, let me switch the screen here. We haven't been pushing our GoFundMe. Oh my gosh, Stephen T, $100 in the GoFundMe. Thank you, Stephen. That helps us so much. That helps us keep reporting. As I was saying, we haven't been pushing our GoFundMe because we've been, telling you guys that we have masks. We're really trying to pump up our membership too, but we definitely need to continue raising up to our $120,000 goal. This will help us continue our in-field reporting, do more investigative reporting, take care of equipment needs and paying freelancers and things like that. So, and don't even think that us, having, it says $112,506. That's, this fundraiser has been going on for 2 years. I believe, created September 12th, 2018. So just about. And that money has gone towards all of the things I've mentioned. So we need to continue raising money. And Stephen, you are a true angel. Thank you. I will drop the link to the GoFundMe in the super chat. And now let's head back to Cori. So this is actually Jordan when he worked previously for the outlet that must not be named. And so this was October 2nd, 2017, so nearly 3 years ago. And you're about to see him interviewing Cori Bush on the ground, doing her thing, organizing and protesting for the rights of Black lives. Oops, it's muted.
St. Louis, right behind me, I think it's like a gymnasium. And there's a few dozen, maybe, I'd say there's between over 100 people here right now, actually. There's been protests, demonstrations here for about 16 days since the acquittal of former officer, his name was Jason Stokely. In 2011, Jason Stokely, a white police officer, shot and killed a 24-year-old black kid, Anthony Lamar Smith. Anthony Lamar Smith, they were in a Church's Chicken driveway, and Anthony Lamar Smith backed out. The police SUV was there. The police chased Anthony Lamar Smith, and then right when they caught him after a bit of a chase, the police officer shot and killed Anthony Lamar Smith several times. Not kill him several times, but shot him several times and killed him. And then after he killed him, he actually went into Anthony Lamar Smith's vehicle. And there's it's kind of a controversial thing what he actually did in that vehicle, but the only gun that was found in Anthony Lamar Smith's vehicle was actually the DNA on it came from the police officer. Yet the police officer, like in many other cities, including Ferguson, Missouri, was found not guilty. This happened on September 15th. So Jason Stokely waived his right to a jury trial. So he had a judge ruling, and the judge, in his final case of his career, found him not guilty. So there's been protests every day here at that not guilty verdict. And talking to some of the people here, you can very quickly see that this is about a lot more than just this one instance of a black man getting murdered. So I'm going to bring over Cori Bush. She's actually running for Congress here. You're on the Justice Democrat ticket, I believe.
Yes.
So shout out to that. So we've been talking. You're running here in the area, and you've been part of these demonstrations, protests. Kind of give the audience who might be coming to this fresh. Tell me what's been going on here. It's been going on now for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The demonstrations.
Yes, so
we hit the streets as soon as we had a verdict, but we knew the verdict was coming, so we started to organize ahead of time. We wanted to make sure that when that not guilty verdict hit, that we hit, because we can no longer sit by, we can no longer be idle, we can no longer be complacent in allowing the police, allowing law enforcement to kill black people with impunity. It's not going to happen anymore, and it's not happening on our watch. We were activated back when Michael Brown was murdered, and so we haven't stopped. The Ferguson protesters have not stopped in 3 years. We started that thing 400 days strong. We protested, and then we turned it into some other stuff. So community issues, making sure that children have food to eat, making sure, doing community gardens and setting up all kind of organizations. And so now with this, we've been on the street every single day, making sure that people know that Black lives will matter in this city. And if you won't acknowledge it, we'll make you acknowledge it, because we're going to stay in your face. And so we've been disruptive, and we're purposeful in our disruption. We're not calling for peace. And people keep saying, you need to have peaceful protests. No, we don't need to have peaceful protests. We believe in nonviolence. Peace. You can't have peace if we don't have justice. So we're going to block streets. We're going to piss you off. We're going to be up early in the morning and late at night. We're going to make noise. We're going to stop stuff. We're going to shut stuff down over and over again. We've already disrupted over $10 million coming into this city in just those few days, and we plan on going out for more.
And I'm sure the Republican governor and the Democrats in St. Louis don't like it. I say Democrats because they're basically Dixiecrats, from what I've been told.
Right.
Not exactly your most progressive politicians.
Yeah. They don't like it. But actually, I'll say this: some of the groups that we thought wouldn't pay us much attention or wouldn't be as in with us have loosened up, and they've been coming out, and so I have to shout them out and say thank you, because that has blown my mind, seeing some people that were not connected with us in Ferguson that felt like we were tyrants or we're terrorists, but now they're coming saying, hey, we want to help. And so we don't really care about what the establishment thinks. Get on the ground, because at the end of the day, we're still dying. We're still being killed. We're still being killed disproportionately, and those that are doing it are getting off scot-free.
Let me ask you, I'm sure you've said this over and over, but this is my first time here. I'm just reading up on it. I mean, basically, you have a cop on audio saying, basically, in the chase, Jason Stokely and his partner were chasing by vehicle Anthony Lamar Smith, and he's on tape saying, "I'm going to kill this. I'm going to kill this expletive. Don't you know?" And then after he shoots him 6 times, I think, basically goes into the car. They find a gun with the officer's DNA. Yet the judge says, "Oh, the prosecutor didn't." Not a reasonable doubt. Well, what do you need him to say on audio? Like, I'm going to kill this, I'm not going to say it, but some racial epithets? I mean, I don't understand. What was their rationale for finding this former police officer not guilty?
Yeah, that part I'm still not clear on. I don't understand it. To me, all the pieces were there. But what the judge was saying is that my interpretation is whether right or wrong, whether he did right or wrong, because the way the laws are set up, he couldn't prosecute him the way that he couldn't get the conviction. So we have to go from the inside then. That's why I'm doing this. That's why Justice Democrats, that's why we're out. We have to put more people in place that will push laws, that will change this bull crap that keeps
it's a young Turks. You can say bullshit.
Okay.
Now, talk about St. Louis, because obviously people were paying attention Ferguson years ago.
So I'm not going to play the whole video, but you get the picture. Cori Bush, and she was, on the ground well before this. As I said, that was about 3 years ago. And by the way, on that trip, Jordan ended up arrested simply for reporting on a protest. If you guys weren't aware of that, I know many of you are aware of that. But you can see Cori Bush is a woman of conviction. She's been on the ground. She is a woman of the people. She understands the struggles of the people that she will be representing. And she understands the struggles of the people across this country. Formerly homeless. She is a former nurse. She is a pastor. She works hard to fight for justice with Black Lives Matter protests and organizing, and she's done so much in her life for the betterment of society. So we're going to be so much better off with her in office. So it is a major, major win for just a very, very deserving person. And we're all going to benefit from her win. I want to take you way, way back to last week when Jordan had Cori Bush on. So this is 3 years from the time I believe they've spoken or interviewed in between that time, but this is a very recent one. And so here Jordan asked her about the fact that Nancy Pelosi won't love that she said that Cori has said she's going to continue protesting and organizing while in office. And Jordan made the point, oh, Nancy Pelosi's not going to like that. So what are you going to do? So let's see what Cori had to say.
You've kind of talked about if you were elected, you wouldn't stop your organizing and protesting.
No.
How would that work in Congress? Because if you were out there on the ground, Speaker Pelosi, if she's still Speaker, and the Democratic Party, they might not like a politician in their ranks actually on the ground with the people.
I don't like black people being murdered by police disproportionately in this country. I don't like trans people, especially black trans people, being murdered in this country by police. I don't like our brown community being murdered by police. And so if nobody is going to do anything that actually affects the people on the ground, now I understand it may not affect you the same if you're in Congress, so you don't understand the urgency. But I have lost people that I know, and I've lost people to communal violence. And so if you're not going to step up and do anything about it that actually reaches us, then I'm going to show up. I'm that organizer, and I'm not going to stop being that person. Now, this is the thing. If you don't want me to do it, then fix it. But because it hasn't been fixed yet, I got to do something about it, and I'm going to show up for my people. That's who I am. I'm always boots to the ground. Whether it's in nursing, yes, my job may be in the office as management in nursing, but I'm going to come out and make sure this person gets their shot on time, or make sure that this person gets the education that they need. Make sure I connect them to their medications, and so that's who we have to be. And I'm not trying to be what everybody else is in Congress. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I have to be Cori that affects St. Louis directly. And so whatever that looks like, the thing is, we get so caught up in trying to, be this and look this way, and people don't get the help they need. Bump that. I'm going to stand up for my folks if that means standing out there organizing my own protest. Say the Congresswoman said show up at 5 o'clock and such, because we're going to do, then that's what's going to happen. My people are going to feel the change.
And it's a good segue, because I would think during a deadly pandemic that the federal government has mishandled, frankly, state and local governments have mishandled. You would want somebody with, emergency care, nurse experience. You've managed other nurses. Can you kind of talk about?
So there you have it. I just saw Anthony Martino in the super chat saying that Cori got the Jordan bump. Yeah. Well, and it's important to us to have, now everybody's going to want an interview with Cori Bush. Now that she's won, people like to chase after winners. They don't like to take the chance beforehand. You didn't see Cori getting tons and tons she got some media attention, but not tons and tons. Not like she's going to get now that she's had this win that surprised so many establishment people. But status quo, that's what we do. We have powerful progressives on who are fighting to win, who are fighting for change. That's why we've interviewed so many candidates. Some have won, some have lost. But what it's about is as our motto goes, giving the microphone back to the people. So we were so happy to have Cori on last week, and hopefully we can get an interview with her now that she's won as well. And I just, if that shows you, not to toot our own horn, but that shows you what status quo is all about. It's important to us to give a voice to those who are fighting. And I want to point out that Cori, a specific line from Cori where she says, I'm that organizer and I'm not going to stop being that person. I'm going to show up for my people. That's who I am. I'm always boots to the ground. And obviously politicians say a lot of things that they don't mean. A lot of candidates say things that they don't mean in order to get elected. But I truly believe that Cori Bush means what she says. She's different. I don't think she's going to get co-opted. I think that she's a very, very strong woman who is going to lead for the people and who's going to continue in her tradition of being among the people, of fighting for Black lives, of doing that organizing and protesting that Jordan and Cori were just talking about. So just very, very happy feelings that she's going to be in our midst. Smash that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Subscribe on all of your Google accounts. Have your friends and family subscribe. Have your cats and dogs subscribe. We really, really want to get to that 100,000 subscriber number. Also, if you can help us out, we are continuing our GoFundMe fundraiser so we can have, let me pop this in the chat, so we can continue reporting on what matters, so we can continue investigating, so we can continue on the work that we're doing. It really, really helps. So GoFundMe, what is it? GoFundMe.com/status-coup-news, and it'll take you right there, or you can leave us super chats. So more on Cori, just it's a lot of love for Cori today. So this is what I was talking about. This is what I was teasing earlier on. So Gabe Fleischer, who, if you aren't familiar with him, he's a young kid. I don't know if he's still in high school, but okay, so he's Georgetown class of 24. So he just joined, or just entered college. So he's great. So he got a scoop. I've obtained the first comment from the Clay family since the longtime dynasty was defeated last night. The Clay's years of elected public service has ended, says former Representative Bill Clay, father of Lacy, blaming outside money from sources associated with Bernie Sanders. Oh, you have to laugh. So the full thing from Bill Clay, the father of Lacy Clay, who lost. Bad news. My son Lacy lost. Outside money from sources associated with Bernie Sanders spent $250,000 in television ads the last week. The Clay's years of elected public service, Alderman Irving Clay, 12 years, Lacy Clay, state legislative, 17 years, and Congress, 20 years, and my 42 years, 10 years local and 32 years Congress, has ended. But we are extremely proud of our more than 91 years of representing the people and thank the millions of combined votes cast expressing approval of our representation. Former Representative Bill Clay. So I don't know where Gabe got this, but he's reliable. So I trust it. The fact that Bill Clay is pointing to outside money from sources associated with Bernie Sanders is just so ridiculous. These are people who accept corporate money. These are people who are establishment, who don't care about money in politics. So they're talking about money, what he's talking about, from outside sources. He's talking about the people who are who have donated to Cori's campaign. He's talking about Justice Democrats who put money forward for ads for Cori Bush, like no surprise there. And like, how could he, I don't know if he thinks this is real or if he's trying to spin it. I think the latter is probably more likely, but just no matter what, it's completely ridiculous. Outside money from sources associated with Bernie Sanders. You can't make this stuff up. And last but not least, on the topic of Cori, Jamal Bowman, who won his very difficult challenge in New York, has sent out a congratulations message to Cori saying, "Congratulations, Cori Bush. Looking forward to making good trouble with you in DC next year." So this image gives me so much hope and happiness. And gosh, guys, we have some really, really great people who are going to be in office. And it's growing. This is growing. And the next topic is Rashida Tlaib's win. And this also makes me very, very happy. There were news outlets, as I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, that were saying, oh, there's no way, that Rashida can win, or, she's really, of all the members of the squad, she's the least likely to win. There's really a lot of downplay of any potential win from, she's the incumbent now, from Rashida Tlaib. But she won, which is incredibly exciting, vindicating for progressives. So Rashida Tlaib, running in Michigan in the 13th district, got 66.1% of the vote, and her challenger, Brenda Jones, got 33.9% of the vote. Folks, what we have here is a blowout. Rashida Tlaib won by a landslide, despite the media that was trying to take her down, despite the establishment that was trying to take her down. The people spoke, and the people got Rashida Tlaib elected again. I think Rashida's great. She's a very, very strong voice. And the next thing I'm going to show you, let me adjust this a little bit. The next thing I'm going to show you is one of those great moments of Rashida Tlaib's that really caused a lot of controversy and was actually a lot of the reason why people in the K-Hive and the establishment were saying, oh, there's no way Rashida Tlaib can win because she did this towards Hillary Clinton, and that's just terrible, and she's a terrible person, and she must not win because she dared to question and challenge Hillary Clinton, our queen. Well, she did that, and it was great. So let's take a look, a walk back in time. This was in February. So let's see what Rashida Tlaib had to say about Hillary Clinton.
This is America's new gig economy. I'm in Austin, Texas to see.
I'll pause the ad here as it plays through. Unfortunately, we have to deal with these ads.
Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib out stumping for Bernie Sanders, and she said something last night that got a whole lot of attention. Let's take a listen to it.
Iowa, we have 3 days. I don't remember if you guys remember last week when someone by the name of Hillary Clinton said that nobody, we're not going to boo, we're classy here. We're classy. I'll boo. You all know I can't be quiet. No, we're going to boo. That's all right. The haters will shut up on Monday when we win.
Kyung, she's talking about Hillary Clinton's criticism of Bernie Sanders in that interview that was released about a week ago. She's walking it back this way?
So that was a moment that was so incredible. A sitting member of Congress booing Hillary Clinton. She should be booed. Hillary Clinton is a bad person who has terrible policies. Her family is disgusting, and she has caused so much harm to people around the world. She's caused deaths. I could go on and on about the damage that the Clinton family has done to this country, and specifically Hillary Clinton. So Rashida Tlaib booing Hillary Clinton was an epic moment, and that's who Rashida Tlaib is. She speaks her truth. She doesn't filter herself. Now, yeah, she did kind of walk it back later, which that was disappointing. But I'm going to focus on the fact that she booed her in the first place, and that it really got all of these feathers ruffled of the establishment and the media. So that was a great moment. So here is what Rashida had to say after her win. I don't know if I can make this bigger. I don't think I can. So she said, headlines said I was the most vulnerable member of the squad. My community responded last night and said our squad is big. It includes all who believe we must show up for each other and prioritize people over profits. It's here to stay, and it's only getting bigger. She continues on, saying, thank you to every neighbor, community member, voter, volunteer, door knocker, friend, staff, and family member. Thank you for believing in me and my team as we serve you. Thank you for showing up for each other and for this movement. The work continues onward. Great words from Rashida Tlaib. And clearly, I have to say, after the K-Hive and I keep mentioning them because they're so vocal and annoying on Twitter, and the establishment and people were saying, oh, because she booed Hillary Clinton in a public forum, there's no way that she can win. Well, clearly the people disagree. The people want people like Hillary Clinton to be booed because she's caused so much destruction here and around the world. The people don't care about booing Hillary Clinton. You have Republicans who, of course, despise every person in the Clinton family, and especially Hillary Clinton. Then you have progressives who really, really dislike Hillary Clinton. You have independents who really, really dislike Hillary Clinton. She's not a likable person. So Rashida Tlaib, and she also has horrible policies, which is really what we must focus on at the end of the day, including the destruction she's caused. So the people who focus on booing Hillary Clinton and how awful that is and terrible that is, they aren't the winners. The future is the people who think it's good to boo Hillary Clinton. The people who think it's good to call out Hillary Clinton and her family and her ilk. So that's Rashida Tlaib, and she won. Here's a quick write-up by CNN. Squad member Rashida Tlaib defeats primary challenger Brenda Jones. Freshman Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan has prevailed against a Democratic primary challenge from Detroit City Council President Brenda Jones. In Michigan's 13th district, Tlaib faced a rematch in Tuesday night's Democratic primary against Jones, who beat her once before to serve out the remainder of former Representative John Conyers' term, but lost to Tlaib in the full-term election for the seat in the heavily Democratic district. As a member of the so-called Progressive Squad, Tlaib, who made history in 2018, along with Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, as the first 2 Muslim women ever to serve in Congress, has a number of built-in advantages as she runs for re-election, including high name recognition, the ability to raise significant amounts of money, and a devoted national following. At the same time, however, Tlaib has faced controversy over some outside the mainstream political positions, and at times she has faced criticism, including from Democrats. No kidding, CNN, she's faced criticism from Democrats over statements related to Israel. And before she actually won, she said, "I feel I have a really good chance of actually winning and returning back to my seat to represent the people of the 13th Congressional District," Jones told CNN in an interview in June. Jones describes herself as a centrist Democrat, saying, "I don't consider myself to be far to the left. I don't consider myself far to the right." In a 2018 special election after Conyers resigned, Jones won against Tlaib in a 4-candidate Democratic primary and went on to win the seat for the remainder of the term. Tlaib, however, narrowly won out against Jones in a 6-candidate Democratic primary held at the same time to determine who would serve out the next full term for the congressional district. Jones lost by fewer than 1,000 votes in the race. So Tlaib has raised more money, as they point out, and Jones was saying, money doesn't win an election, and the people of the 13th Congressional District know me, they know my work. Tlaib said, "People can say whatever they want, but I'm telling my supporters, donors, nationally and everywhere, you can support the work I'm doing by supporting frontline organizations that are providing for many of my neighbors that need the help the most right now," Tlaib said. A spokesperson for the campaign, Denzel McCampbell, said, "During Representative Tlaib's first term, she has remained laser-focused on delivering exceptional constituent services while advocating for bold, transformative legislation that will provide equity, justice, and opportunity to everyone in her district." Then they talk about the fact that AOC won and that Ilhan Omar has her race this coming Tuesday on August 11th. So AOC did endorse Rashida Tlaib, which was easier for her to do, I guess, because she was the incumbent. She was already in Congress. So I guess AOC felt that was safer, whereas she didn't feel the same way with Cori. I don't think that's an excuse at all. So major win by a landslide, which shows that the progressive policies are what's winning here. It's really a great feeling that she won by such a large margin, whereas everyone was trying to poo-poo her chance to win again. AOC actually yesterday, or last night I believe it was, maybe this morning. Yeah, so it was this morning. AOC said she was calling out this article that said Representative Rashida Tlaib survives Democratic primary challenge in Michigan. So AOC said, please put some respect on Rashida Tlaib's victory last night. She didn't survive. She overwhelmed at the polls. Throughout our first term, we've been told our advocacy is too much to be reelected. Instead, voters supported her in huge margins. Very, very true. So we have a lot to be happy for and excited about today. We have the wins of progressives before this, and we have the wins of Cori Bush and Rashida Tlaib, and it feels incredible to finally have something to be happy about. The news is so depressing. The election results are consistently depressing. It can feel bad as a progressive when you aren't winning, and Bernie Sanders still puts a knife through my heart. I'm still a supporter of Bernie. I get that he's single-mindedly focused on ousting Donald Trump, and that's all that matters to him. Unfortunately, that comes at the cost of his policies, and he didn't fight about the Democratic platform, whereas his supporters were fighting. And it feels easy, I guess, to call Bernie a sellout, or at least it feels easy to a lot of people to call Bernie a sellout. I don't think that's the case. I am disappointed, but I know at heart, Bernie is still going to be fighting once he sees this existential threat of Donald Trump gone. So we can be disappointed and we can take our knocks, but we have to stand up and keep going. We have to take our wins and fight harder for more wins. And Cori Bush's win, and Rashida Tlaib's win, and Jamal Bowman's win, and AOC's win, and hopefully Ilhan Omar's win next week. Hopefully Jen Perlman against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Hopefully Shahid. Like, we get inspired by these wins. It gives us more fuel for the fight. And I'm so glad about yesterday's outcome. As I said, I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. I was in between wanting to cry, happy tears, and wanting to just be happy, just smile all the time. So that's all of the news that I have for you for this segment. I will be live again later on. So let's close out as I've been doing. You guys can leave any comments you want, ask me any questions you want, whatever you want to say. Now's the time, and then I will sign off. But before we do that, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Help us get to 100,000 subscribers. Subscribe on all your Google accounts. And you can also support us by shopping in our Status Coup store, which is right here. And you can see we have all kinds of amazing goodies: phone cases, t-shirts, tank tops, socks, a blanket, sweatshirts, leggings, wall hangings, pillows, and we have masks. So check out our store, get your Status Coup swag. As I've mentioned, we get about half of the product cost, and so half of that goes towards our reporting. So please help us out and get some great stuff at the same time. You can also support us in our GoFundMe at any amount to help keep our reporting going. COVID has been hard for us. We're lucky in a lot of ways that we in general work from home, and for now we do safe in-field reporting. So, but we need to keep going, and it is difficult in these times to keep going. So if you have the means, you can support us that way. You can donate to our GoFundMe, which Steve T wonderfully gave $100 to today. There is the GoFundMe link. And last but not least, you can become a member of Status Coup for as low as $5 a month. 1 second. Become a member. Letting it load. I don't know why it's taking so long. Oh boy. I don't know. Anyway. There we go. So become a member of Status Coup to support the media revolution. You get behind the scenes video diaries from Jordan, Jen, and the crew, behind the scenes reporting and bonus content, monthly member calls, so much more depending on the level you sign up for. So please, please become a member. It really helps. You can also sponsor people if you have the means. There are a lot of people who want to be members of Status Coup, but who just don't have the financial means. We've gotten so many people who've written to us and said, I'm so sorry, I have to cancel my membership due to COVID and economics and the loss of my job. And, you know, people say, you know, I want to become a member, hopefully I want to stay a member, hopefully I can rejoin later on. I'm really sad. So we've lost about 200 members that way. And we're working to grow those 200 members again, so we can get to 2,000 members overall. It's really the heart of how Status Coup continues functioning, and it's our business model. So $5, you know, skip the latte, skip the McDonald's or whatever vegan meal, skip whatever you need to, or search those couch cushions and join Status Coup, statuscoup.com/join, and you get tons of great bonus stuff. We have great plans for the future of the membership. We're going to add even more value, and I'm really excited. There's already great stuff, but there's going to be even more, a lot of stuff to be excited about. statuscoup.com/join. You can also, if you have the means, you can help the people who do not have the means to join. You can sponsor one person, 2 people, 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, whatever number you're comfortable with and financially able to handle. You can write us at info@statuscoup.com. That's info@statuscoup.com, and just write and tell me how many members you want to sponsor. I'll send you a special link where you can sponsor the number of memberships you want to, and then I will manually set the memberships up for the people you have sponsored. So all you have to do is email me info@statuscoup.com, and I will handle the rest. And there have been generous people doing this for other Status Coup members. It's really heartening to see people wanting to help others. And this week we've had 2 separate people sponsor 2 people each, so four new members there through sponsorships just this week. If you are in need of a sponsorship, email me info@statuscoup.com. So please consider sponsoring others, as it really, really helps. So all right, let's hop into the chat. So ask me any questions you want, and then we'll sign off. Yi says Rashida is the soul of the squad. She's great. Chris says, when Rashida booed Hillary, she won me over. Yeah, I think she won a lot of people over. It got a lot of normie Dems just super, super frazzled, which of course made us happy. Let's see. Brandon says these primary challenges are jokes. Don't treat them like that, but let's be real. MCC and Brenda Jones are jokes, and so will Ilhan's challenger. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's considered incredible and historic, and why we're especially happy about Cori Bush's win. That wasn't a joke. That was a really tough challenge. The media tried to hype up Rashida Tlaib's challengers as someone to look out for, and that Rashida couldn't win. So that ended up being Rashida winning in a landslide, of course. So I don't agree. I don't think these primary challenges are easy by any means, especially for our most progressive of progressives. Chris Wynn says, thank you, Jen, for being frank about Hillary is just a bad person. She is. She's an awful, awful person. I have no problem saying it. And Henry reminds everyone to watch the Empire Files episode about Hillary Clinton. Definitely do that. They do a great, great job. Abby does a great job talking about the dangers of the Clintons, Hillary Clinton in particular. Deep State says, still nothing on MSNBC about Cori. I haven't looked today, but wouldn't surprise me at all. Chris Wynn says Jamal Bowman had his second biggest fundraising day after Hillary endorsed Eliot Engel. Nobody likes Hillary. Dimitri says, I might vote for Trump if he actually locks her up. No, don't do it, Dimitri. It's a trap. scrolling through here. George says, wasn't Conyers a perv harasser? Supposedly, and it makes me really sad that his career ended that way. It makes me sad because obviously it's horrendous that he was a creep and awful. Conyers, like, he was, you know, he had some good policies. There was an event that I went to with Justice Dems when I was on the writing team there, and the event, I think it was for Medicare for All. We were pushing Medicare for All, and the event included Ro Khanna and John Conyers, and so they came to support, pledge to sign this Medicare for All bill, or like pledge to eventually support this Medicare for All bill. And Conyers was so sweet. He's, you know, he was very old, of course. He was really, really nice, and it was nice to talk to him. Ro is great, of course. I really like Ro. But when all this came out, and then later on it came out, you know, in the Me Too era, what was truly going on with Conyers. So it was really sad, because I did like him until learning that. Leave any questions before I sign off, and I will be live again probably around 5. I'm gonna shoot for 4:30, but I'm always, it takes a lot, honestly, to load up to load up all the articles and stories and stuff. So 4:30 or 5 Eastern time. George E says, Jenna's so much better at being critical of Bernie Sanders than me. You know, I have a lot to say about, you know, the people who are down on Bernie right now, but I won't spend time talking about it, but I definitely don't agree with those people. Anthony Martino says that he was jumping around all night about the wins. Yay. It was so exciting. Chris Wynn says those Status Coup sweatpants look tempting. They sure do, and you can pick yours up right here. And apparently if you sign up for their newsletter, you get 10% off. So that's super good. Michael Cooper points out that the beach towels make for a great cape. That is super true. So grab your Status Coup beach towel now. Nawal Khwaja, sorry if I mispronounced. Jen's online presentation has improved a lot since you started. Thank you. I'm you know, I am a person who I never wanted to be on camera. If you asked me a few years ago if I would ever want to be live on camera on YouTube, I would have told you you're crazy. I'm really shy, and well, not to get too deeply into me as a person, but I'm often deeply critical of myself, and I just like the thought of putting myself forward and having to like withstand people's criticisms about me. Like, there are people who still write and say, I don't like your voice. Like, okay, go away then. I can't change my voice. Don't watch. But yeah, there are and I definitely accept constructive criticism and things like that. But my point, I guess, is it took me a while to be okay with being on camera, but my drive to be a journalist and, you know, Status Coup, which Jordan and I co-founded, there's no way around it. We're mainly a video reporting, like we mainly do video reporting. We sometimes do written reporting, but it's mainly video. So I had to kind of accept that this is exactly, you know, journalism is exactly what I've wanted to do all my life, and my heart is in research and investigation and being in field. But there's also a value to going through important stories, you know, daily and studio presenting. It's not our favorite thing to do, but it's important to do, and it's lovely to interact with you all. So I think when I first started doing it, I was very, very nervous, and I just felt silly. I felt like people would like call me ugly and stupid and like just all sorts of horrible things. So it's taken me a long time to get over that. I'm not truly over it, but it's been surprisingly easier to do live streams than I thought. Even though I was recording videos, I really didn't want to do live streams, but since Jordan was going to be away all this time, it's like, okay, I'll do it. And it's been fun. It's really fun talking to you guys. So anyway, long way of saying thank you for saying that. No wall. Anthony asks, what's Wakelet? Wakelet is cool. let me see if I can. Oh, yeah, I can't really show you because I don't have. Wakelet is, you can sign up on their site, and then what it does is you can drop any links in or social media in, and it will, like, or you can organize it, and then you can have a visual way. Let me log in anyway. Hold on one second. You have a visual way of sharing things with people. Oh, it's not coming up with my. Never mind on Wakelet, but anyway, it's an easy way of sharing things with people, of presenting things with people, of putting your research in a categorized way that's also visually appealing. So I do recommend Wakelet. Anthony says, I will do everything to help status quo grow. Thank you, Anthony. You are just so wonderful. George asked, Biden asked a black reporter if he's a junkie. Anyone see that story? I actually saw that. I think Sean King shared it today, and I haven't watched it yet, but not surprising at all. I'm going to watch it. Maybe I'll share that later on today. Let's see. Cryptician asks Michael if Mike Preisner is the guy who Abby Martin is dating. Actually, they are engaged, and they just had a baby. So excited for Abby and Mike. They're both wonderful people. Love Abby. She's my hero, my girl reporter hero. Anthony asks if I have any energy tips. DM him. Any pointers are super helpful. I have no energy tips. I'm very low energy. I honestly, it's one of my downfalls is I just have no energy. George E, $2 in the super chat. Thank you so much. He says, this is for reading my comments. You're the best. Thank you, George. Raisinette says, Jen, you are neither ugly nor stupid. Thank you, Raisinette. You always have such nice things to say. Solomon asks, what are your favorite races coming up? So I'm really excited about two races in particular, I guess. I'm excited about Ilhan Omar's because I think, if she wins, and I think she will, I think it'll be like another kind of punch towards the establishment. Like, the squad is here to stay. The squad is growing. This is the future of the Democratic Party. This is what people want in this country. So I think it'll just like round out the progressive kind of surge that we're starting to see. And I'm also really excited about Jen Perlman. So Jen Perlman is going up against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as Jordan reported on and did an interview with Jen Perlman. People are trying to take her down like crazy. Of course, Debbie is trying to take her down. There's things like people are stealing Jen's campaign signs, just pulling them out of the ground and doing all sorts of horrible things. And Tim Canova, who previously ran against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, has apparently, according to Jen, has been like in an all-out war against Jen, just spreading all these conspiracy theories and horrible things about Jen. He's totally turned on her and in awful ways, and he's accusing like her campaign manager of nefarious intent, which he doesn't have. He's a really good guy, this campaign manager. So I'm really looking forward to, if Jen Perlman can pull this off, that would just be incredible. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a bad person with bad policies, and the way that she handled 2016, just terrible. So those are the ones I'm probably most excited about. And it's true. Chris Wynn says, nobody makes conservatives more mad than Ilhan Omar. That's so true. They love to call Ilhan Omar an anti-Semite. They love to make up stories about, they say like Ilhan married her brother. They make up the most ridiculous stuff. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the stuff that they did to Barack Obama, just making up these stories and conspiracy theories that go viral. And it's not good. So I don't even remember what the original statement was. Where is it? Newell says, Jen, I can see you really liked the comment. Thank you for reading it. You are adorable. Thank you. You're very, very sweet. Cryptician asks, Abby has a baby now? Yes, she does. So I haven't seen any pictures. I can't wait till if they share a picture. It seems like they're trying to keep things kind of private. Like they didn't announce her pregnancy. George E says, my 3 favorite women in news, Jen Dice, Abby Martin, and Katie Halper. That's awesome. I'm happy to be in a list with such incredible women. Cryptician says, I think that Rashida Tlaib really speaks with the mouth and the voice of the people all the way. Let's see how long the Democrat Party lets her keep doing that. Yeah, it's a good point. You know, just because she won her race doesn't mean she can quit fighting. She's still going to have to fight, and she's still going to have to, you know, stand her ground and be strong. And I do think she can do that. Harriet Garr says, F. Bernie, what defense can you possibly give him, selling us out with such ease? He caved, slapped us all in the face. There's no defense of such weakness. I'm sorry, so disappointed. Well, I mean, as I said, I can go really in depth with this, and I don't want to, you know, take up too much time on it. But with, you know, saying that Bernie sold us out, and I assume you're talking about when he dropped out, that was when all of the candidates, that was, you know, around when Clyburn made his endorsement and kind of called to arms against Bernie, essentially, by putting so much support towards Biden. That's when candidates dropped out en masse and just coalesced around Joe Biden. So I think that is I don't think Bernie dropped out. I truly think at this point there wasn't going to be a path for Bernie, simply because of them coalescing around Biden and the establishment sort of putting all of their power towards Biden. And you have to remember too that Obama was reportedly working in the background to make it impossible for anyone except for Biden to win, or especially he worked against Bernie Sanders. And there are reports or rumors that Bernie Sanders' family was threatened, and which I'm sure happened. Bernie, I think it is a fault of Bernie. I'm not saying Bernie is perfect by any means. It is a fault of Bernie for sure that he kind of focused all of his attention in the end on defeating Donald Trump. I think that's also another reason why he dropped out, is because he truly thinks that Donald Trump is the biggest threat this country has ever faced. And he will do absolutely anything to defeat Donald Trump. So call him out on that if you want. But I think part of the reason why that is his focus is also part of the reason why we love Bernie. It's because he is a good person. He has a good heart. He cares so deeply about the people of this country that he was willing to put himself aside, you know, not me, us. He was willing to put himself aside and put all of his might into defeating Donald Trump. So I don't think he sold out. I strongly think that after Trump is out, hopefully, that Bernie will return to fighting for those policies that are so important, you know, Medicare for all and the Green New Deal and all of the things that Bernie supports. So it is, in my opinion, totally fine to call Bernie out on his actions or lack of actions. He, in my opinion, could have done so much more, even after he dropped out. He kind of disappeared for a while, and I don't think that was okay. So my opinion really boils down to, it's great and good and important to call out our political heroes or anyone where they falter. It's okay to have differences of opinion, but we also need to push our leaders to be better. But to throw the whole person out, to say Bernie's no good, Bernie was never good, it's just not true. So that's my opinion. Someone asked, I don't know where it went. Someone asked if, where did it go? Okay, so Fly Trumper Fly says, Jen, does everyone who has questions get them answered in your members meetings? Yes, absolutely. We answer all your questions. We are often on there for 2 hours or even 3 hours. So it's a great call. We bill it as like once a month we do member calls, but often we do more. And they're just it's a great vibe. It's a great time to, get to know each other better, like in a more intimate setting. There are usually about 100 people who show up for the calls, and it, you guys, there's a chat box there, and we talk to you directly. You can be on camera or not. You can type your question, or there's a feature where you can raise your hand virtually and get your question answered. So I love it because it helps me get to know our members, and members love it because it's that setting where it's just a good setting. It's like a great group of people, and chatting back and forth, especially in this age of COVID, we're all still, kind of in lockdown. It's good. It's good to be able to communicate with other people. So I definitely urge you to join for as low as $5 a month. There are other levels too with more goodies added. $5 a month. You can join there, statuscoup.com/join, or you can, if you have the financial means, a lot of people do not in this age of COVID, you can sponsor 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 100 members yourself, people who are down on their luck. So that would be wonderful. You can email me at info@statuscoup.com and I will set that up. Okay, let's see here. Anthony says, say hi to Sarah. She's wide awake now. She's listening. Hi, Sarah. I love hearing Anthony's updates about you. You are so inspiring and incredible. And I just, Anthony is such a wonderful husband, such a wonderful support to you. You guys have this unstoppable, inspiring love that is so heartwarming. You're going through so much, and it's awful. It's heartbreaking. At the same time, you have this love, and it's great. And I saw Anthony sent me a picture of your doggies too, of your puppies. They are so cute. I know it must be so lovely to just have them around, and dogs have so much love too. So best wishes to you. And yeah, Anthony, keep sending me updates. I really enjoy that, and both of you are just fantastic people. Cryptician asks, Jen, what day is it this week that Joe Biden said he will choose his running mate? Will we find out Thursday or Friday? So the last I heard, it was delayed a week. Don't quote me on this, but I think that means Monday. But who knows? I don't know what they're doing. I really hope they don't choose Karen Bass with her Scientology ties and all that weird stuff. Now they're trying to paint her as a communist sympathizer or something. Let's see here. Henry reminds us that the DNC are responsible for Trump getting in the first place. Yeah, people can't forget the Pied Piper strategy. That was their strategy, to lead people to Trump in the primary so that because they thought he would be the easiest candidate to win. Like, this is the Democrats' fault. Really crazy people. George E. says the DNC abused and degraded Bernie for so long and so many years that when Obama stuck him with the final dagger, I think it just broke him. I don't have insight into Bernie's personal life, but I think it kind of did. I don't think forever. I think he just needed to recharge. He is an old man, and he's been basically campaigning and fighting for other candidates. He fought for Hillary. He traveled for Hillary, which no Hillary stan likes to remember. And he's been traveling and working and campaigning and just going for so long. And he, of course, his heart is with the people. So the fact that he wasn't going to win and had to make that choice to drop out, I think it did break him. But he is a fighter. He's a strong man. And he's given his life to fighting for all of us. So I think he's going to come back stronger than ever before. And I think, his purpose, he's the reason. The squad doesn't exist without Bernie Sanders. And these progressive wins don't exist without Bernie Sanders. Bernie is the one who inspired so many people to run. So many people to think it was possible to beat the establishment. So Bernie still has a role. Bernie, in my opinion, again, is not a sellout. Bernie Bernie's legacy will be, once we get it, making it possible for us to have Medicare for all, for inspiring younger generations, older generations to understand and embrace progressive policies. He's gonna be back and better than ever. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. Cryptician says, Jen, why don't progressives use the strategy of taking over the Green Party for the purpose of reforming and empowering progressive politics instead of continuing to fail at doing it in the Democrat Party? So this is a really, it probably deserves a really long answer, but I think it boils down to the Green Party. I'm not like in their activism or their coalition building or whatever, but from what I understand and from what I see, they don't do, as much as they could in between elections. Like, they kind of pop up more during election time and then kind of go away, and it's hard to build up support that way. And we are a two-party country where I think it should be 4 or 5 parties. And I don't know the answer. I do hope and wish that the Green Party would gather more support and could become more of a force, but a lot of people kind of go with the winning team. And so even people who sympathize with or agree with the Green Party's policies and the policies of the candidates of the Green Party, we all know that without something like out of this world happening at this present time, voting for the Green Party, which I did do in 2016, I voted for Jill Stein, is essentially like a protest vote. Like, it's not going to lead to something at this point. So especially with Trump in the mix, I think a lot of people, even those who've been in the Green Party or sympathize with the Green Party, are going to vote Biden. A lot of progressives, I think, are going to vote Biden because of Trump. So I don't know. I just, it's a topic that's kind of a mystery to me of how we go about making a third party a reality. So, all right, guys, I have to go, or else I will be late with the stream that's happening in 2 hours. So much love to all of you. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Join Status Coup as a member for great bonuses and to get in on those fun members calls. Shop in our Teespring store, and there should be a pop-up when you get to that link where if you sign up for their newsletter, you'll get 10% off. So that's super fun. And tune in around 4:30 or 5 for the next stream. All right, bye guys. See you next time. Be excited about those wins. It's good. Feel it. Ride the wins and let them inspire you. All right, bye guys.